The story of the last of the Mohicans is not just a tale. It's a lesson in courage, loyalty, and survival. When we open the pages of this story, or when we listen carefully to it, we are not simply hearing about characters from long ago. We are encountering the very qualities that shape strong men and women in every generation. Courage is not a word locked in history. Loyalty is not a virtue reserved for the past. Survival is not only about the wilderness of forests and rivers. It is about the wilderness of life itself. And just as the characters in this story stood face to face with trials that tested their very souls, so too do we stand in our own trials, needing the strength to press forward. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to move forward in spite of fear. Think of the battles in this story where danger was everywhere, where the unknown stretched before them like a stormy horizon. And yet the characters took steps into that storm. Courage is what holds a man steady when everything around him is shaking. It is what helps a woman lift her head high when the weight of the world is pressing down. And every time you hear a new word in English, every time you dare to speak when you feel unsure, you are practicing that same kind of courage. You are stepping into your own storm, trusting that the effort will carry you further than fear ever could. Loyalty shines like a steady flame in the last of the Mohicans. Through hardship and heartbreak, characters remained bound to one another, not because it was easy, but because it was right. That loyalty reminds us of the power of standing together, the power of friendship, family, and shared struggle. Think of how this applies to learning. You are not alone in this journey. When you choose to stay loyal to your goal, when you commit to the discipline of listening, speaking, and practicing, you build strength that does not break under pressure. Loyalty is keeping faith with yourself, keeping faith with your dreams, keeping faith with the path you have chosen. And then survival. Survival in this story was not a luxury. It was a necessity. To live, to protect, to keep moving forward required every ounce of determination. The wilderness tested them, but it also revealed them. And life does the same to us. Every day brings tests of patience, tests of strength, tests of character. Sometimes it feels like we are walking through our own wilderness. But hear me today. Survival is not about merely getting by. Survival is about finding within yourself the will to rise, to endure, to refuse to be defeated. And just like the characters who pressed forward when all seemed lost, you too can endure when the task feels impossible, when the language feels too hard, when your progress feels too slow. The last of the Mohicans shows us that trials can either break us or build us. But for those who choose courage, loyalty, and survival, those trials become the very place where strength is forged. You are not just learning English, you are shaping character. You are discovering that within you is the courage to step forward, the loyalty to stay the course, and the survival instinct to rise above every obstacle. The story is more than a tale, it is a mirror. It reflects who you are and who you can become. So I say to you, take this lesson deep into your heart. Let the courage of the story stir your own courage. Let the loyalty of its characters remind you of the loyalty you must hold to your calling. And let the survival of its heroes strengthen your will to keep moving forward. For in every step you take, in every word you learn, in every sentence you speak, you are writing your own story of victory. And that story, like theirs, will not be forgotten. Learning English through story builds not only your language skills, but also your heart for perseverance. Stories have a way of reaching into the depths of who we are. They speak to the mind, yes, but they also speak to the soul. When you listen to a story, you are not just learning grammar, not just memorizing vocabulary. You are entering into an experience. You are walking beside the characters, feeling their struggles, their victories, their defeats. And in that walk, you are practicing something far greater than words. You are practicing endurance. You are practicing the art of not giving up. Think about how a story unfolds. It never gives you the ending at the beginning. It takes you on a journey filled with ups and downs, twists and turns. Sometimes the path is smooth, but more often it is hard. And yet, step by step, chapter by chapter, the story keeps moving forward. This is the same path you walk in learning. There will be moments when the words seem too many, when the sentences feel heavy, when the meaning slips away from you like water through your fingers. But just like the story continues, you too must continue. That is perseverance. It is the quiet, steady resolve to keep moving, to keep listening, to keep speaking, even when you feel like stopping. Language cannot be forced into your mind like numbers on a page. It has to be lived, and when you learn through story, you are living the language. Every dialogue you hear, every description you repeat, every sentence you form is not only shaping your ability to communicate, it is shaping your spirit to endure. Because the truth is, perseverance is not born in moments of comfort. It is born in struggle. It is born in the nights when you repeat the same sentence again and again. It is born in the days when you stumble over the same word, yet rise to try again. That persistence is what makes you strong, not only as a speaker of English, but as a person who knows how to endure in life. Perseverance is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Many people begin, but not everyone finishes. Many people dream, but not everyone persists. And if you want to master English, if you want to break down the walls that stand between you and your future, then you must be willing to walk that bridge, step by step, without turning back. The story will guide you. It will carry you. It will give you strength when you feel weak, and it will whisper to your heart that the struggle is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater. When you listen to a story, you may not understand every word at first. You may not grasp every phrase, but as you stay faithful, as you stay patient, you begin to notice something. The words become familiar. The sentences flow more easily. The meaning shines more clearly. That is the fruit of perseverance. It does not come in a rush. It does not come overnight. It comes little by little, like drops of rain that turn into a river, like small seeds that grow into a mighty tree. That tree stands strong because it endured the wind, the storm, the passing of seasons, and so it will be with you. Do not despise the small steps. Do not grow weary when progress feels slow. Every page you turn, every story you hear, every sentence you speak is another stone laid in the foundation of your future. Perseverance is not about perfection. It is about direction. Keep moving forward, keep pressing on, and you will find that what once seemed impossible becomes natural. What once felt heavy becomes light. What once seemed far away comes close enough to touch. So let the stories you hear be more than lessons in language. Let them be lessons in life. Let them strengthen you to endure, to keep going when the road is long, to rise again when you fall, to believe that the goal is worth the struggle. For it is through perseverance that skill is gained, and it is through perseverance that character is formed. And if you will not give up, if you will not turn back, the day will come when you will not only understand the story, you will tell your own in a language that once seemed beyond your reach, but now belongs to you. Every word you hear and every sentence you repeat is a step toward freedom in communication. Freedom is not something handed to us in a single moment. Freedom is built little by little, choice by choice, action by action. And when it comes to learning English, freedom comes through words. Not just the big words, not just the fancy sentences, but every single word you dare to hear, every single sentence you dare to speak. Each one is a stone laid on the road that leads you out of limitation and into possibility. When a child first learns to speak, they do not begin with paragraphs, they do not begin with speeches, they begin with simple words. Yes, no, mama, papa, and from there they grow. That is the same path for you. Do not underestimate the power of one word. Do not think that a single sentence repeated again and again has no value. Every repetition is progress. Every echo of a sentence in your mouth is a new muscle strengthened, a new bridge built between thought and expression. Some people want to leap ahead, to master it all in a day. But freedom is not found in rushing. Freedom is found in the steady, patient steps. Listen to a word, repeat it, listen again, speak again. Each time you do, you are breaking down the walls that have kept you silent. You are tearing apart the chains of fear, the chains of doubt, the chains of insecurity, and step by step, word by word, you find your voice rising with strength. Communication is power. To speak clearly is to open doors that were once closed. To express yourself is to stand tall in a world that once felt overwhelming. But the power is not unlocked in a single key. It is unlocked in the gathering of many small keys, the words you collect, the sentences you practice, the language you shape day by day. And as you do, you begin to taste freedom, freedom to share your thoughts, freedom to connect with others, freedom to step into opportunities that once passed you by. Think about this. Every sentence you repeat is more than grammar. It is more than structure. It is a declaration. It says, I am moving forward. I will not stay where I am. I will not be trapped in silence. I will not be held back by fear. That repetition, as simple as it seems, is the heartbeat of growth. It is the sound of chains breaking. It is the sound of freedom coming. Some days you will wonder if it matters. You will hear yourself repeat a sentence for the 10th time, the 20th time, the 50th time, and the question will rise, is this really making a difference? And I tell you, it is. Every time you repeat, you are digging roots deeper into the soil. You may not see the tree rising yet, but the roots are growing strong. And one day, without warning, you will look back and realize the progress you have made. What once was impossible will now be natural. What once made you tremble will now make you confident. That is the miracle of persistence. That is the gift of freedom. And so I urge you, do not despise the small steps. Do not mock the simple repetitions. Embrace them, cherish them, because every word you hear, every sentence you speak, is leading you somewhere greater. You are not standing still. You are moving forward even when it feels slow. And as long as you keep taking those steps, as long as you keep hearing and repeating, the day will come when you will no longer struggle to speak. You will speak with clarity, with power, with freedom. So take courage in this journey. Celebrate each new word, honor each repeated sentence, and know that every single one of them is a stepping stone on the path to your own freedom. And when that freedom comes, you will not only speak, you will be heard. Stories teach us that language is not memorized. It is lived, spoken, and shared. You cannot lock language inside the pages of a notebook and expect it to breathe. Words are not meant to stay silent. They are meant to move, to flow, to be carried on the breath and the tongue. When you try to memorize language, it becomes heavy, a burden you drag with you. But when you live it, when you speak it, when you share it, it becomes light, it becomes natural, it becomes alive. Think about the way a story comes to you. It does not hand you a list of words to remember. It gives you characters, it gives you feelings, it gives you moments, and through those moments the words take on meaning. They are no longer empty shells, they are vessels filled with life. You hear the dialogue, and suddenly the words are connected to emotion. You feel the tension, the joy, the sorrow, the victory, and the words stick, not because you forced them into your mind, but because they touched your heart. This is why stories are so powerful for learning. They teach you that language is not a lifeless thing you repeat without meaning. It is a living stream, and when you step into it, you are carried along by its current. When you live the language through a story, you understand not only what the words mean, but how they breathe, how they sound, how they flow together. You see how they rise in excitement, how they soften in sorrow, how they carry strength, how they carry tenderness. That is not something a list can give you. That is something only a story can bring to life. And when you speak it, when you dare to open your mouth and let those words come out, you discover that language is not about perfection. It is about connection. A story gives you courage to speak because you are not simply repeating. You are retelling, you are reliving, you are sharing what has already been planted inside you. And in that sharing, the words begin to take root. They stop being foreign and they start becoming yours. Language is not meant to be hoarded. It grows when it is shared. Imagine learning a story and keeping it locked away in your mind. It may stay with you for a while, but it will never grow strong. But the moment you share it, with a friend, with a classmate, with your family, the story comes alive again, and the words grow deeper inside you. Sharing is what strengthens your learning. Sharing is what turns borrowed words into owned words. Sharing is what makes the language part of who you are. We live in a world where people hunger for connection. They long to be understood. They long to express themselves, and language is the bridge. But you cannot build a bridge by stacking up pieces of wood in the corner. You have to lay them out, you have to connect them, you have to walk across them. That is what stories do. They show you how language connects one thought to another, one heart to another, one life to another. And I tell you this, when you learn through stories, you will find yourself remembering words you never set out to memorize. You will hear a phrase in a story, and days later, without effort, it will rise to your lips. Why? Because it was lived, it was spoken, it was shared. It is no longer just a word. It is an experience, and experiences cannot be erased easily. They stay, they shape you, they guide you. So do not limit yourself to lists and drills alone. Step into the story, live the language, speak it as if it belongs to you. Share it as if it carries meaning beyond the page. And as you do, you will discover that learning English is not about locking words in your memory. It is about unlocking your voice in the world. When you practice English, you are not just learning words, you are shaping your future. Every time you open your mouth to speak, every time you take the courage to repeat a sentence, you are not only building language, you are building destiny. Words are more than sounds. They are tools, they are keys. They are doors that open into opportunities you have not yet seen. And when you choose to practice, when you choose to put in the effort, you are chiseling out a pathway to a future that will look different because of the choices you make today. Think of it this way: the future does not suddenly appear. It is built piece by piece, like a house rising from the ground. Every brick matters, every board matters, and so it is with your words. Each one you practice, each phrase you master, each sentence you repeat is another brick laid, another board set in place. At first, you may not see the full picture. At first, you may wonder if the work is worth it. But day by day, line by line, your future is being shaped, and one day you will look back and realize what you have built. You see, words carry power. They shape how others see you. They shape how you see yourself. They shape the doors that will open before you. A person who learns to speak clearly, to express themselves, to communicate with confidence, holds a power that cannot be measured in books alone. That power is not just about language. It is about influence, it is about connection, it is about freedom. And when you practice English, you are not just filling your mind with grammar, you are giving yourself the chance to step into that influence, that connection, that freedom. Do not let anyone tell you that practice is wasted. Every effort you make today is a seed planted for tomorrow. You may not see the harvest yet, but the seed is alive and it will grow. You repeat a sentence today and it feels small. You speak a phrase and it feels weak, but one day those same words will come out strong, natural, effortless, and you will see how your persistence has shaped not only your speech but your future. When you practice, you are shaping the way you will face challenges. Because practice teaches you discipline, it teaches you patience, it teaches you perseverance. These qualities do not disappear when you leave the classroom or finish the lesson. They follow you into your career, into your relationships, into your dreams. The same strength you gain in repeating words and sentences will be the strength that carries you through the trials of life. That is why practice matters. It goes far beyond the sound of words. It reaches into the very fabric of who you are becoming. Your future is not something that happens to you. It is something you create, and with every word you practice, you are creating a future where you are understood, where you are confident, where you are free to express what is inside of you. Imagine the day when you walk into an interview and speak with clarity. Imagine the day when you share your story with someone from another country and they understand every word. Imagine the day when you read, when you write, when you listen, and the language is no longer a barrier but a bridge. That day begins now with the words you practice today. It is easy to look at practice as something small, something ordinary, but I tell you there is nothing small about it. The future is hidden inside the ordinary. The extraordinary is hidden inside the repetition. The practice that feels so simple today is the very thing that will unlock doors tomorrow. Never despise it, never ignore it, embrace it. Because when you practice English, you are not just preparing for a conversation. You are preparing for a future that will be brighter, stronger, and fuller because you chose to keep going. So let every word you speak remind you of where you are headed. Let every sentence you practice strengthen your vision of tomorrow. And let every moment of effort fill you with the confidence that you are not just learning words. You are shaping your future. The journey of mastering English is like the expedition in the story, challenging, but filled with victory for those who endure. An expedition is never easy. It is filled with long roads, steep climbs, rivers to cross, and nights that test your spirit. But the ones who endure, the ones who press forward even when the way is hard, are the ones who reach the summit, the ones who see the sunrise after the long night. And learning English is no different. It is not a quick walk. It is not a short road. It is a journey, and every step matters. There will be days when the path feels smooth, when the words seem to flow with ease, and you feel strong in your progress. But there will also be days when the road feels rough, when you stumble over the same word again and again, when your tongue feels heavy, when your ears grow tired. Those are the days that will test you. And it is in those moments you must remember that this is an expedition, not a sprint. You do not give up because the road is steep. You climb because the summit is worth it. In every great expedition, there are moments of doubt. The traveler wonders if the strength will last, if the supplies will hold, if the path will ever end. And yet, step by step, they move forward. That is what endurance looks like in learning. You may not master a word the first time, or the second time, or even the 10th time. But if you endure, if you keep pressing, if you keep walking, the word will become yours. The sentence will become clear. The language will become part of you. Endurance is the difference between those who dream of reaching the goal and those who actually arrive. And along the way, you will discover victories. They may not always look grand, but they are victories just the same. The first time you understand a sentence without translation, that is victory. The first time you speak and someone understands you clearly, that is victory. The first time you read a story and feel its meaning, that is victory. These are the milestones on the expedition, the signs that you are not lost. that you are moving forward, that the effort is not in vain. An expedition is not just about reaching the end. It is about who you become along the way. The challenges of the road shape the traveler, give them strength, teach them wisdom, and so it is with learning English. The struggle of practice, the discipline of repetition, the patience of listening, all of these are building more than language. They are building character. They are teaching you to endure not only in study but in life. There will be voices that tell you it is too hard. There will be moments when you are tempted to turn back. But I tell you, keep going. Do not let the difficulty stop you, because the victory at the end is greater than the struggle you feel now. Imagine yourself at the end of this journey, speaking with confidence, understanding with clarity, connecting with people you never thought you could reach. That is the summit. That is the sunrise after the long night. And it belongs to those who endure. Every expedition has its trials, but every expedition also has its rewards, and so does this journey. Do not grow weary on the road. Do not lose heart when the way is steep. Keep your eyes on the goal, keep your steps steady, and know that the victory is certain if you will not quit. For the journey of mastering English is like the expedition in the story, challenging, yes, but filled with victory for those who endure. Thank you for joining me on this journey of courage, loyalty, perseverance, and victory. If these stories have inspired you to keep pressing forward in your English learning, don't stop here. Hit that like button to let us know you're walking this path with us. Subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss another story that strengthens both your language and your spirit. Together, let's keep moving forward, one word, one sentence, one victory at a time.